Hello and welcome. This video tells you how to create a discussion board assignment in eLearning. Discussion board assignments are a really great way to make sure that your students have read what they're supposed to read or can talk about what it is, the concepts that you're trying to teach. Setting one up is really a two-step process. You need to start by setting up the forum itself. If you're going to have multiple discussion board assignments, then you should have multiple forums. Normally the forums are here under item number 6, interaction, if you haven't moved things around in your site. I've already deleted the chat window off of this because I don't need it. So I have this forums item here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click forum home. In my specific situation, I need to edit the forum. Only the instructor has the option to edit. Students will not. They can't do any of this. So I'm going to add a category. By default, I only have a general category. I want to add a category. In this case, I'm going to call it language acquisition because that's the general topic that it's going to be under. And I'll type in all about language learning. Okay. So now I've added this category and I want to save the category. Now I've got a category of general and a category of language acquisition, and I want to add a topic under my language acquisition category, and I'm going to call that child versus adult language acquisition. And I'm going to type some kind of a description that says something like, people say that children learn languages faster than adults. Do you agree? Why or not who? Why or why not? Normally I'd have considerably more description there, but I don't want to waste your time watching this video to do that. It's going to say, when do you want it to start? When do you want it to end? In this case, I want it to start now and never end. I could put in here dates of when my course starts and ends or when I want this to be due. I can still set a different due date for my assignment posting, and I'll do that later, but the discussion board doesn't need to end when that happens. All right. I'm going to show posts and replies. It's available to all users and guests. I'm actually not going to let guests see this, but that's fine. There are no restrictions. I'm not going to use moderation. When students post, they're not going to be anonymous. So I'm going to be able to see who posted what, and if there's something inappropriate, I'll have to deal with that student. All right, so I need to click Save Topic. Okay, so now I have this topic called language acquisition, and within it, or sorry, a category called language acquisition, and within it I have a topic called child versus adult language acquisition. This would be fine if I just wanted to have the students just contribute to it and it's an extracurricular activity and I'm not grading it, then I'd be done. But I do want to grade this. I'm going to exit edit mode and return to the forum. Now you can see how it will look for them when they're there. You do have some ways to reorder these. I'm not going to go through that right now. Now you need to create the assignment that goes along with it. So I'm going to go into my assignments item. I'm going to add an assignment. Now, normally I'd have my whole gradebook structure set up and my types set up and all those kinds of things. I don't have that done yet. But if I did, this would be probably just homework or an assignment as opposed to being a quiz or something like that. All right, so I'm going to add an assignment, and you'll notice that I've got several different types of assignments that I can create. This is going to be a forum format, meaning that they participate in a discussion board, and I'm going to grade that. And I'll do a separate video on how that works and how to grade it at the end, okay? All right, so I'm going to click the forum format. Here's where I'm going to say that it's language acquisition. This does not need to match the title of your discussion board or anything else. This is the assignment name. So language acquisition discussion board post. I don't have any units set up at this point. If I did, I would select a unit here. Is it required? Yes. Is it an exam? No. It's going to fall into my homework category. This is important when you're using the grade book. If homework counts as 60% of my grade, then I need to make sure that this fits into that particular category. All right, let's say that their posting due date, this is actually a J-term class, I'm not teaching in this fall. So if I were going to go to January 2016, we got a lot of years, and I say that this is due by, let's say, Friday the 15th, okay? So that's going to put my due date in there. Oh, actually, that's a post due date. And then, all right, so here's how this works. I actually want this date, sorry, to be down here because this is the date that I want everybody to post. What post due date means is sometimes you want people to do an initial posting and then you want other students to respond to that posting. If all of my postings were due on a Friday evening, everybody's going to wait and post on Friday evening and nobody's going to be able to respond to anybody else's postings because nobody's posted anything until the last minute. So if I made the initial post, which is the one up here, due on, let's say, Wednesday night, which would be the 13th, so I can just type in 2016. I make my initial post due 2 days usually before this so that people have a chance to do that. Important, if you're going to use the course calendar, and I highly recommend it, click on Show This Due Date in the course calendar. It's a lifesaver. Your students will be able to look at the calendar and see exactly what's due when. All right. I want to go ahead and open it now. I could wait until a specific date or just say later when I'm ready for it. Okay, graded out of how many points? You just need to decide how granular you want your points to be. You could do it on a 5-point scale, a 3-point scale. I do mine usually on a 20-point scale or a 10-point scale. You could do it on a 100-point scale. It doesn't really matter. Do you want to show the grade as soon as it's available? Do I show the class average to all students? I really don't care about that. All right, and then I need to say from here, which discussion board is it that corresponds to this assignment? I don't want my general open discussion. I want it to be the one I just created, language acquisition, and it's going to come back. Right now I only have one, child versus adult language acquisition. But if I had created 4 different topics within that category, this would give me a drop-down list of things to choose from. So this is where you have to have that forum created ahead of time or you won't be able to choose it from this screen. All right, now here's the important part probably. Okay, you can read these, figure that part out. I don't use them. All right, how much are you requiring your students to do for this? Do they need to do, in my case, at least one initial post? Okay, and I want to ignore anything shorter than 100 words, okay? And I will tell them this ahead of time, let's say 90, but I'll tell them it has to be a 100-word posting or it doesn't count. It won't totally throw them away, but when you see it in the grade book, and again, I'll show you a separate video on that, it will show you that it doesn't meet the requirement. Much better for it to count the words than for me to count the words. All right, so I want them to do one initial post and I want them to do at least 2 replies. And all the replies have to be at least 50 words long, and so on and so on. All right, step 3, instructions and files. Here's where I can say essentially the same thing. Okay, so post, please post. Post 1 initial posting of 100 plus words about child versus adult language acquisition. And then reply to at least 2 of your classmates' postings. And again, I might have more instructions here. This is where I could put a rubric as to what kinds of things I'm looking for and so on. If I wanted to have an actual document here that explains the assignment, I can do that. All right, now I've got save your new assignment. All right, so now when I go into assignments, so far this is going to be the only one. Hello. Oh, yeah, right. It's in Unit 1. Sorry. So I go down here, and sure enough, I've got this language acquisition discussion board post. It's forum homework. It's due on the 13th with final post due on the 15th, and so on and so on. I'm done. That's it. Thank you.